Hello, welcome to the show. I'm Jacquelene Closemore. You're on A1R Psychic Radio and Moonstruck TV, and I'm joining you live from my lounge room again in Melbourne. So we're not in lockdown. It's been a couple of weeks now. We've also had an interesting time with the energy to do with relationships and the opening up of finding out the truth of things. Let me just go through this. Friend sent it. I'm a dork with my glasses on. Hang on, my dear Mr. Marshall in the UK. He's like super goofy quack boy. He likes ducks, basically. So Venus enters Capricorn November 5, and it really doesn't support relationships where there's unloyalty or lies going on. And it helps you get down to the truth of things. So, where is the commitment, all this sort of thing. So just watch out for that. This week has been kind of hilarious with some people talking about, and then I found this out about them, and it's like, stage exit left. So just, kind of use that energy to your best ability. Have a bit of a laugh with it. What's life about without a bit of laughter where possible? Now, just to let you know, I'm starting back on my face-to-face appointments in Melbourne. Finally. I had to rejig my website, rejig everything because of COVID mandate, health orders, government. So it's not my rules, it's the government's rules. I can blame the government for the stuff I'm having to do there, like people are going to have to wear masks and all sorts of bits and pieces. I don't make the rules, government, so don't blame me. If you're coming to an appointment, it's like you've got to check in and stuff and have a green tick and maybe a purple Eskimo. It'd be a cold Eskimo. I think the Inuit people know how to keep themselves warm. But in Melbourne, that could be different. You just don't know. You might need something really warm in the morning and something really cold in the afternoon. So tomorrow, also Saturday, the 6th of November, 1:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, because we're on daylight savings. I'm going to be doing a workshop for the Tarot Guild of Australia. Thank you guys, or ladies rather, for asking me to do that. I'm going to be doing a 2-hour workshop. It's free. How's that? So you can join me on that and ask me questions, whether it's about hair dye or actually tarot. It's all fine. And I'll be doing that. So I'm going to be talking about the Major Arcana. So when we're talking Major Arcana, it's kind of like, the court cards. So, well, not the court cards, Major Arcana. I'm talking court cards. God, I'm going to have a real field day with this one, clearly. So Major Arcana. So this year, 2021, for example, if I'm looking at that, I'm going to be going, all right, well, 20, okay, judgment card. Just getting myself into the right part of the screen. I always get this confused because I'm dyslexic. Okay, so 20, yeah, and then we go, all right, well, 2021. Yep, that's kind of working. Go that way, Jacqueline. So judgment and the world card, and they come together. 2 + 2 + 1 is 5, which is this card I held up before, the Hierophant or Pope card. There we go. I'm always so useless at this. I've got to get my angle. I've got to practice this stuff. Look at that. Oh, look, angles. Anyway, so I'm going to go through that and actually make sense of it. But when we look at the Major Arcana and you look at the tarot and you sort of go, it's just a piece of paper. No, these are symbols. They're archetypal. It's pretty big. You can get a lot out of it, a lot of energy. When I'm looking at tarot cards, I'm actually scrying. So if you've heard of that before. So you imagine like Nefertiti, that's not me, but when she was in Egypt, she had like her priestess ladies, and they'd kind of go underground to the underground caves where there was like pools of water, and she would scry. And scrying is when you're looking into something, so be it a crystal ball, be it water or a tarot card, you can actually start to see images and pictures. And in my case, if I look at a photograph or I'm looking at a tarot card, I start to see it's like a movie because I'm weird and dyslexic. Possibly that's it. I don't know. It's actually a form of clairvoyance, really, if you want to get down to it. But I sort of think there's a link with ADHD here, just between you and me and whoever else is watching. So, it gives you this ability to see the image moving around. And as I'll talk about one part of the card or one symbol in the card, that'll come up. And as I finish talking about that and the energy's moved off that, it goes down. And then we're on to the next part of the card, and it's like that part pops up, and it's like, okay. And if I don't need to talk about certain images on a card, they won't pop up in front of me. It's like the image lifting off the page. So with dyslexia, of course, the words can actually, the letters can go like this. It's like a soup. You're sort of watching these words going like that. And somehow, that stopped in about grade 4 for me. I was able to just flatten that out. But with, pictures with tarot cards, it's actually like that for me. I actually watch these images moving up and down and speaking to me. And once it's the message that needs to be conveyed with that card, then that card becomes flat. It's like when I first looked at an astrology chart of someone very famous, and we were all reading on this, and you weren't told who it was. You were just given this chart with no name on it and no date of birth, just the actual chart. So the date of birth, time of birth, location of birth was scrubbed, and you had to figure out who this was and what they were about. And I was just watching this. It was actually John F. Kennedy, and I didn't know that's who it was, but I just went, oh, my head. I feel like I've been shot. Oh, God. And, it was really awful. But I was watching the actual chart go from being just a flat circle on the paper, because it is a flat circle on paper, to a dome. And I'm looking at it and I'm looking at things and I'm going, whoa. So this way I read cards is not really usual. It's kind of weird, right? But clairvoyance works in different ways. I mean, I can get images on a blank wall. Usually in my reading room, I've actually got a blank wall. You can't see it right now. It's right over there. It's a great big blank wall. I have nothing on it. And that's because if I'm doing readings, I can be like staring over there, and then woof, here comes that video screen with my eyes open of all the images to do with what I'm talking about, to do with this person. And it could be songs, all sorts of stuff can be going on. And that's what I'll be bringing forth to someone. So that's just one part. I mean, I can also do that with my eyes closed, and also obviously see passed over people like they're just you. Sometimes I can mistake them for a living person, go, hey, here you go, and just walk past, not understand that's actually a dead person. So that can get a bit confronting at times when you're having a conversation and other people don't realize that you're having a conversation with someone who's there that they can't see. But I don't have conversations with people who aren't there and aren't there. That's a different thing. So I'm going to be talking about, the, once again, Major Arcana tomorrow, and talking about the links with the different energies. So when we're talking about all that tangent I went on about, oh, look, the images, the tarot cards are not just, static pieces of a card. You're dealing with an archetypal energy. You're dealing with symbolism. And all of this can actually teach you a great deal. And that links to the Kabbalah tree of life. Now, that's like a whole other thing. That's just, you could spend years. You could spend your lifetime on that thing. Then it also links with astrological sort of references. And then you've also got color, meaning and color with this. And you see different tarot decks, and some of them have like herbs assigned to different cards and all this sort of thing. And then also when you're dealing with the tarot, you've actually got 4 suits. So that's when we get into the court cards, which is, your Jack, Queen, King, Knight type thing. And they sort of call them different things, like the princess or the prince of XYZ, or the knight, or, it's sort of like, okay, don't save me, I'm not up a tree somewhere like a fair maiden. But anyhow, so some tarot is like really light and very nice and only tells you good things. And then you have stuff like Barbara Walker Tarot. Boof. And she's not taking it. Look at this lady. I mean, no, whoop, that one. Hell. Not really hell, okay, for all those Christian people, don't get upset. She's actually, this one's a Queen of Wands. And as I said, she looks like she's not really taking prisoners. But if we sort of think of it, when we're talking about the 4 suits, we're dealing with the 4 elements and the 4 seasons and the 4 directions. So that's when we bring in elements of pagan, sort of thinking along the lines of, celebrating the season, the harvest, the Sabbats, all this sort of thing. So there's even a deck called the Fairy Ring deck, which is not specifically tarot, but kind of is. And it's actually got the suits as seasons. So if you look at cups, you're looking at water, all right? Wands are made of wood. Well, what does wood do? It burns. if you light it. So you're dealing with going closer to the equator. So one could argue that's the south. One could argue that's the north. It depends on what part of the world you're in and how you feel about that. For me, I use the south, even though I'm in the southern hemisphere. Go figure. And so for me, that's autumn, fall. It's when the leaves come out. And what do we do during, fall is we literally, might burn those leaves or make mulch out of them. So all these different seasons are in the tarot as well. So when you're going, I don't like tarot readers, they should be able to read without tarot cards. No, it's just a tool. And if someone sort of says, oh, I don't really want a reading with someone who has to use tools, well, I'd rather know how to use tools than be one. So, have fun with it. But essentially, all these different types of modalities, they can actually connect a bit into each other and they can actually be used. It's really not about saying one tool's better than the other. What flows with you, that's what matters. And that's what I'm going to be teaching tomorrow, Saturday, Australian daylight, Eastern Daylight Time, if you're wanting to join me. It'll be on the Jacquelene Closemore Live and Jacquelene Closemore Facebook page if you're wanting to find me. I'll be back next week to talk about other fun things, maybe do a bit more with tarot. You can send a question if you want on Facebook, Jacquelene Closemore. Just have a search for me, you'll find me. In the meantime, have a beautiful week. Catch you next time.